When electric cars were first being marketed, there was a lot of concern about chargers being readily available, but a lot of those concerns have now mostly been alleviated as more charging stations have come online. But that's not the case for people who bought vehicles that were powered by hydrogen fuel cells.
Imagine a car that refuels in 3 minutes, drives 270 miles without a single emission, and produces nothing but water vapor. While Tesla dominates headlines and every automaker races toward batteries, Honda is betting on something completely different. They are not abandoning the engine, but reinventing its very soul. This is not science fiction. This is happening right now, and it could change everything we thought we knew about clean transportation. The greasy-handed visionary. On a dusty road in rural Japan in 1906, a young boy stood mesmerized as the first automobile he had ever seen rolled past his village. The smell of oil hung in the air like perfume, and little Soichiro Honda chased that car as far as his legs could carry him. He could not understand how something could move under its own power, and that mystery would consume his entire life. Born into poverty, Honda grew up watching his blacksmith father repair bicycles. While other children focused on schoolwork, young Soichiro forged his family seal from a rubber bicycle pedal cover to avoid showing bad grades. He was not interested in traditional education. His classroom was the workshop, his teachers were tools and metal, and his passion was anything with an engine. At 15, Honda left home and moved to Tokyo to become an apprentice at an automobile repair shop. For 6 years, he learned not just how to fix engines, but how to understand them, how to improve them, and most importantly, how to give them soul. By age 20, Honda and his mentor built a racing car using a biplane engine mounted on a car chassis. They won, and Honda earned the nickname the Edison of Hamamatsu. During World War II, his factory supplied parts to the Japanese military, but American bombers destroyed his plant in 1944. An earthquake finished what the bombs started. Most people would have given up. Honda sold the ruins to Toyota and walked away, but giving up was never in his DNA. In 1946, Honda used that money to found the Honda Technical Research Institute in a bombed-out building where silver grass swayed in the wind. Post-war Japan was in ruins. Fuel was scarce, food was scarce, hope was scarce. People needed transportation, so Honda attached surplus military generator engines to bicycles. They were not pretty, but they worked. By 1948, he officially founded Honda Motor Company, and in 1949, he introduced the Dream Type D, the first true Honda motorcycle, painted an unusual maroon color with revolutionary die-cast components. Then came the partnership that changed everything. In August 1949, Honda met Takeo Fujisawa. Honda was the engineer who understood engines. Fujisawa was the businessman who understood money. Together, they made a radical pact. Neither would force their sons to join the company. They wanted Honda Motor Company to succeed on merit, not nepotism. Within 10 years, Honda became the leading motorcycle manufacturer in the world, outselling Triumph and Harley-Davidson in their own home markets. But Honda never stopped pushing boundaries. In the 1970s, when strict pollution regulations hit the United States, most automakers struggled. Honda introduced the CVCC engine, which met all requirements without needing a catalytic converter. While others complained about regulations killing performance, Honda proved you could have both. Then came VTEC technology, showing how to extract massive power from small engines. Honda was among the first to introduce hybrid cars in America, changing the perception that eco-friendly vehicles had to be boring and slow. Soichiro Honda died in 1991 at age 84, but his philosophy lives on. Engines are not just machines. They have souls. The engine is not just part of the car, it is the heart of the car. From greasy hands in a village workshop to a global empire selling millions of cars annually, Honda has always believed in one thing: the story of the engine is not over. It is simply evolving. And that evolution now leads to hydrogen, the electric wave, and its hidden shadows. For the past few years, one word has dominated the automotive industry: electric. Every new launch, Every discussion, every future plan revolves around electric vehicles. They transitioned from science fiction to commonplace reality in what felt like seconds. Today, electric vehicles are everywhere. Cars with massive screens, charging stations at every corner, and the concept of charging your battery while sipping coffee became completely normal. Governments accelerated this transformation with tax breaks, subsidies, and benefits. Some countries explicitly stated that the era of petrol and diesel cars will end in the next 10 to 15 years. Climate change discussions intensified, and electric vehicles received overwhelming support. Suddenly, they seemed like the only right path. Almost every major automaker began rapidly launching electric models like they were launching new smartphones. But here is what most people do not talk about. Electric vehicles have a dark side buried deep in the ground. The batteries that power these supposedly clean vehicles rely on lithium, cobalt, nickel, and manganese. These materials have to be mined, and mining damages both land and water in ways most consumers never see. 46% of an electric vehicle's carbon emissions come from the production process, compared to only 26% for traditional internal combustion engine vehicles. Almost 4 tons of carbon dioxide are released during the production of a single electric car. That vehicle must be used for at least 8 years just to offset those initial emissions. Let us talk about lithium. 1 ton of mined lithium emits nearly 15 tons of carbon dioxide. A typical electric vehicle battery requires approximately 8 kilograms of lithium, though a Tesla Model S contains around 62 kilograms. If 50 million electric vehicles are sold by 2030, we will need 400 million kilograms of lithium annually. The mining is incredibly water-intensive. In the Atacama Desert in Chile, one of the driest places on Earth, lithium mining consumes 65% of the region's water. Producing 1 ton of lithium requires approximately 2 million tons of water. Local communities face severe water shortages while lithium extraction continues at unprecedented rates. Indigenous populations have seen their ancestral lands transformed into industrial mining zones, disrupting ecosystems that took millennia to develop. Then there is cobalt. 63% of the world's cobalt comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo, where child labor is being used in mines. Each kilogram of refined cobalt contributes up to 15 kilograms of carbon dioxide emissions. About 80% of industrial cobalt mines in the Congo are owned or financed by Chinese companies. The mining produces hazardous byproducts that toxify the environment. Workers, including children as young as 7 years old, labor in dangerous conditions without proper safety equipment or fair compensation. Currently, 2/3 of total global emissions associated with battery production are highly concentrated in just 3 countries. China accounts for 45%, Indonesia 13%, and Australia 9%. China dominates battery refining and manufacturing, controlling more than half of cobalt, graphite, and lithium refining capacity. They produce over 75% of all lithium-ion batteries. This creates massive geopolitical vulnerabilities. The United States only refines 2% of lithium domestically. India has no lithium reserves at all and relies entirely on importing batteries from China. This concentration of supply chains means that global transportation electrification depends heavily on a handful of nations, creating strategic dependencies that could affect national security and economic stability. And what happens when these batteries reach the end of their life? Most are disposed of in landfills. Leaks of environmental contaminants are frequent, often leading to underground fires that release even more pollutants. Recycling is difficult, expensive, and not widespread enough to make a real difference yet. Current recycling rates hover below 5% globally, meaning millions of tons of battery waste accumulate each year with no sustainable disposal solution in sight. Then there is the infrastructure challenge. Filling up with petrol takes 5 minutes. Charging a car can take hours. In many places, the power grid simply cannot handle the strain. Some areas ask people not to charge their cars during peak hours because the demand for electricity is growing faster than new power generation can keep up. During summer heat waves or winter cold snaps, when electricity demand peaks, the grid becomes even more vulnerable, raising concerns about blackouts, and energy rationing. Electric vehicles are part of the journey toward cleaner transportation, but they are not the complete answer. The real challenge is creating a system that is truly clean and works for everyone in the long run. While other companies rush headlong into the electric vehicle race, Honda takes a step back to think. They want to avoid long charging times, increasing battery waste, and growing dependence on rare earth metals mined under questionable conditions. Their approach is neither fully electric nor the old petrol-based system. It is something different. The Clarity Experiment. In 2015, at the Tokyo Motor Show, Honda unveiled something extraordinary. A car that did not require petrol and did not need to be plugged into a charger. It was called the Honda Clarity Fuel Cell, and people in Japan could actually buy it. Honda became the world's first automaker to offer a fuel cell vehicle to ordinary customers. This was the culmination of over 20 years of research into hydrogen electric vehicles. The Clarity was designed from the ground up with hydrogen in mind. The fuel cell system was compact yet powerful. A single tank of hydrogen provided a range of approximately 360 miles, which was better than most electric vehicles at that time. Fuel efficiency was excellent, and the only emission was water vapor. The drive was incredibly quiet, smooth, and comfortable. On paper, Honda had found the perfect formula. Zero emissions at the point of use. Long range comparable to gasoline vehicles. Fast refueling in just 3 to 5 minutes. The Clarity received the award's 10 Best Engines Award for 2018. So what went wrong? That was the infrastructure. Despite the advanced technology, the Clarity did not achieve the success Honda hoped for. The problem was not with the car. It was with the environment surrounding it. Hydrogen refueling stations were few and far between. Unless you lived in certain areas of California or Japan, finding fuel was a challenge. Most people did not want a vehicle that would cause trouble along the way. The Clarity fuel cell could only be leased in California and later expanded slightly to Japan. It was essentially locked out of the vast majority of global markets. Meanwhile, electric cars seemed simple. Plug in, charge, and go. Big names started driving them. Governments offered rebates and subsidies. Charging stations began appearing everywhere. Hydrogen cars received none of that support. Honda never announced exact sales figures, but a spokesperson said there were only 2,116 total leases of the Clarity fuel cell in the United States. During the 5 years it was available, only around 41,000 of all Clarity versions were sold, and most of those were the plug-in hybrid version. In August 2021, production ended. But here is what most people missed. Honda learned something crucial. They proved that hydrogen fuel cell vehicles can work and be reliable. The problem was not the technology, it was the timing. The world was not ready. Honda did not rush afterward. They took a step back. Meanwhile, quietly, they continued working on hydrogen, improving the technology, refining the systems, building partnerships. Giving up was never an option. The Clarity was not a failure. It was a lesson, a foundation, a proof of concept. Now Honda is back, and this time, they are not alone. The CR-V Hydrogen, come back with a vengeance. In July 2013, Honda and General Motors announced a collaboration to develop the next-generation fuel cell system. By January 2017, they established Fuel Cell System Manufacturing, the auto industry's first manufacturing joint venture to mass-produce advanced hydrogen fuel cell systems. It was a 50-50 partnership with $85 million in investments. Together, Honda and GM hold more than 2,220 patents for fuel cell technology. They combined Honda's decades of engine expertise with General Motors' electric vehicle know-how. The new fuel cell system they developed costs 1/3 of what the previous system in the Clarity cost. It is more durable, with durability performance doubled. It has higher efficiency and improved cold weather startup capability. However, in January 2026, Honda announced they would end production of fuel cell systems under this joint venture by the end of 2026. The partnership achieved its goals. Now Honda is ready to move forward on their own with an even better system. Mass production of Honda's independently developed next-generation fuel cell module is scheduled to begin in 2027, with half the production cost of the current model and more than double the durability. But the real story is what Honda has done with all this technology. They made their comeback with the Honda CR-V FCEV. This is the CR-V, the best-selling crossover in America over the past 25 years. People know it, trust it, and love it. Honda took that familiar, reliable platform and completely changed what powers it. From the outside, it looks just like a regular CR-V. But underneath, everything has changed. 2 high-pressure hydrogen tanks are fitted at the rear, situated under the back seat and rear cargo floor. They send compressed hydrogen gas to the fuel cell unit located under the seats, which converts it to electricity that powers the electric motor. But here is where Honda got really clever. The CR-V FCEV also has a 17 kilowatt-hour battery pack in the floor that provides extra power. This battery can be plugged in and charged, making this the first production vehicle in North America to combine both plug-in capability and fuel cell electric vehicle technology. The battery is good for an additional 29 miles of all-electric range, according to EPA ratings. You have the flexibility of Level 1 or Level 2 charging. A Level 2 charger provides approximately 29 miles of battery-powered range in just 2.5 hours. If the local hydrogen station goes down, the CR-V is not reduced to a lawn ornament, provided you can plug in nearby. The battery extends range through regenerative braking, just like a battery electric vehicle. The vehicle features an EV mode button to precisely manage energy distribution across the battery, fuel cell, and electric motor. The single electric motor produces 174 horsepower. The EPA estimated range is 270 miles of zero-emission driving, with 241 miles from the hydrogen system and 29 miles from the battery. Once the tank is full, you can travel long distances without worrying about finding a charging station. Hydrogen refueling is quick. Refuel in just 3 to 5 minutes at a hydrogen station and get back on the road immediately. It is just like the petrol filling experience. No waiting hours for charging. When hydrogen and air combine inside the vehicle, the only thing emitted is water vapor. The CR-V FCEV can also share its power when needed. If there is a power outage at home, the vehicle can power essential appliances. The 110-volt power outlet can deliver up to 1,500 watts of external power. It becomes more than just a car. It becomes a mobile power station. Production began in 2024 at Honda's Performance Manufacturing Center in Marysville, Ohio. The CR-V FCEV is the only fuel cell electric passenger vehicle made in America. It became available to lease in California starting July 2024, only through 12 approved dealerships. Lease terms include substantial hydrogen fuel credits to offset refueling costs. Honda is not rushing the launch. Their focus is on doing things the right way. Starting in areas where hydrogen fueling stations are already established eliminates the worry for drivers. As more stations open, the CR-V will be introduced to new regions. While other companies focus on bigger batteries and faster charging, Honda is already delivering refueling in minutes, long driving range, and zero-emission driving, all in a reliable, familiar SUV. For a long time, the biggest obstacle to hydrogen cars was the lack of refueling infrastructure. But now, things are changing rapidly. The infrastructure revolution. By the end of 2024, around 1,160 hydrogen refueling stations were in operation worldwide. In 2024 alone, around 125 new hydrogen refueling stations opened. 45 countries now have hydrogen refueling infrastructure in operation or under construction. The Asia-Pacific region leads the world with 748 stations, representing 62% of the global total. China, South Korea, and Japan are the world's top 3 countries for operating stations. China has 384 hydrogen refueling stations, the largest share in Asia. The government is investing billions in hydrogen for buses, taxis, and commercial vehicles. South Korea has 198 stations and plans to build 280 liquid hydrogen stations by 2030. Japan has 161 stations and has made hydrogen a key part of its national energy policy. Europe had 294 stations by the end of 2024. Germany has 113 refueling stations, the most in Europe, and is building a hydrogen network for heavy vehicles. The United States had 89 operational stations by the end of 2024. 74 are located in California. Around 59 retail hydrogen refueling stations are open, with at least 50 stations under various stages of planning or construction. California has faced some challenges. True Zero, California's largest public supplier, recently hiked prices by 20%. Shell shut down its hydrogen stations. These volatility issues influenced Honda's decision to add plug-in capability to the CR-V. Despite these challenges, the global hydrogen fueling station market is experiencing tremendous growth. In 2024, the market was valued at $817 million. By 2032, it is forecast to reach $5,464 million, representing a compound annual growth rate of 27%. What is driving this explosive growth? The need to reduce carbon emissions is paramount. Hydrogen is increasingly being adopted in heavy-duty transport like long-haul trucks, buses, and locomotives, where batteries are less practical. Technology advancements are making stations more efficient. The diversity of hydrogen sources ensures supply stations more efficient. In 2024, railway hydrogen refueling stations moved from planning to operation. China commissioned 2, Canada commissioned 2, and India scheduled 1. This is where the picture changes significantly. Hydrogen is not only a clean alternative for regular cars, it is even more useful for heavy trucks, city buses, and public transport systems where long distances and heavy loads are essential. Governments are no longer treating hydrogen as just an experiment. They are investing heavily in it. Stations are being built, infrastructure is being developed, and Honda's CR-V hydrogen SUV arrived at the perfect time, just when conditions are right. Behind the scenes, Honda is building something intrinsically linked to their true identity. Honda has always been a master of engines. Now, as the world slowly moves away from gasoline, a question arises. What will the power of the engine mean in the future? For Honda, the answer is clear: reinventing the engine's soul. While most companies focused solely on batteries, Honda asked a different question. Can the joy of driving be preserved while making the engine clean? Their answer is the hydrogen fuel cell. It is smooth to drive with instantaneous response. It retains that familiar car feel, except there is no noise, no fumes, no gasoline, just water vapor behind and clean power ahead. Honda is not moving away from the engine. They are making it even better. The partnership with General Motors has been instrumental, though it is now coming to an end. The joint venture achieved remarkable things. On January 25, they began large-scale commercial production of hydrogen fuel cell systems, the first of its kind in the United States. Honda's initial sales expectations are 2,000 fuel cell systems annually by 2025, 60,000 units by 2030, and a few 100,000 units per year by the second half of the 2030s. This extends well beyond passenger cars. Honda is also part of a large Japanese consortium working on ultra-clean combustion engines that can run on biofuels, hydrogen, and even ammonia. Partners include Toyota, Subaru, Mazda, and Yamaha. The goal is to provide more options for consumers. Honda has identified 4 core domains for fuel cell system application: fuel cell electric vehicles, commercial vehicles, stationary power generators, and construction machinery. Honda is jointly developing a Class 8 semi-truck with Isuzu, with a production model planned for 2027. The Honda fuel cell power generator, scheduled for mass production in 2026, can supply hydrogen-derived clean electricity to large facilities like factories and offices. Honda is actively looking for partners in North America to work on fuel cell commercial trucks. Jay Joseph, Honda's Vice President of Sustainability, said the fuel cell powertrain is technically ready to help companies achieve their carbon neutrality goals. This is not simply a choice between battery electric or hydrogen fuel cell technology, but selecting the right energy source in the right place for the right purpose. Honda is working toward carbon neutrality for all products by 2050. By 2040, electrics and fuel cell vehicles will represent 100% of Honda's automobile sales. The hydrogen business is being grown as one of the new core businesses of Honda. This has been Honda's approach throughout history. Push the boundaries a little further. They were among the first to introduce hybrid cars in the United States. Now, the company is at another turning point. While other companies are reinventing the entire car, Honda is reinventing the heart of the car, the engine, preserving its soul while making it clean. Let us talk about what really matters. How does the hydrogen-powered CR-V stack up against electric vehicles? Hydrogen versus electric reality. Refueling an electric vehicle takes anywhere from 30 minutes to several hours. The CR-V hydrogen refuels in 3 to 5 minutes. This is a game changer for daily drivers with busy schedules, commercial applications, long-distance travelers, and emergency services. Most electric vehicles offer 200 to 300 miles per charge. The CR-V hydrogen delivers 270 miles total. With optimized driving, nearly 400 miles is possible. Now, let us talk about the environmental reality that most people do not discuss. 46% of an electric vehicle's carbon emissions come from the production process, compared to only 26% for internal combustion engine vehicles. A typical electric vehicle battery requires 8 kilograms of lithium, 14 kilograms of cobalt, and 20 kilograms of manganese. Each battery pack needs up to 250 kilograms of raw materials total. The hydrogen fueling station network is no longer a futuristic idea. It is expanding at a rapid, measurable pace across the world. Countries that once treated hydrogen as an experiment are now building real infrastructure to support it as a mainstream energy source. In the United States, California leads the way with 74 hydrogen stations, creating the backbone for hydrogen-powered vehicles on the West Coast. Japan has gone even further, operating 161 stations as part of its long-term commitment to hydrogen mobility and energy security. Germany, Europe's hydrogen hub, has built 113 stations, integrating them into a broader strategy to reduce emissions and dependency on fossil fuels. Asia is moving fastest. China now operates 384 hydrogen fueling stations, the largest network in the world, driven by aggressive government investment and industrial demand. South Korea follows closely with 198 stations, supporting both passenger vehicles and heavy transport fleets as part of its national hydrogen roadmap. Altogether, the global total has now surpassed 1,160 hydrogen fueling stations, and that number continues to climb every year. What was once a niche infrastructure is quickly becoming a global network. The market growth reflects this momentum. In 2024, the global hydrogen fueling station market was valued at approximately $817 million. By 2032, it is projected to reach $5.46 billion, representing massive expansion over less than a decade. This growth is driven by rising demand for zero-emission transportation, government incentives, advances in hydrogen production, and increasing adoption by commercial fleets. Hydrogen avoids rare metal dependency. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. It is 100 times more energy-dense than a typical lithium-ion battery. It can be produced from water using renewable energy, which is called green hydrogen. Honda's goal is not replacement, but a strong alternative. Even a small market share can shift perspectives and provide options where electric vehicles fall short. Production scale is expected to be 2,000 fuel cell systems annually by 2025, 60,000 by 2030, and a few 100,000 per year by the second half of the 2030s. This is significant for applications where hydrogen excels, like heavy-duty transport, commercial vehicles, stationary power, and construction equipment. Will hydrogen replace electric vehicles? Probably not. And it does not need to. The goal is to provide options where most appropriate. Both technologies require massive infrastructure investment. The ultimate winner is a diversified approach using both technologies where appropriate. Honda is not trying to win a battle between hydrogen and electric. They are offering a different path, one that complements electric vehicles rather than competes with them. One that preserves the joy of driving while making it clean. One that works where batteries struggle. The clean transportation future likely includes battery electric vehicles for most passenger cars and urban transport, hydrogen fuel cells for heavy-duty, long-haul, and commercial applications, and potentially other technologies yet to be developed. In that diverse ecosystem, Honda's hydrogen-powered CR-V represents something important. Proof that clean does not mean compromise, that zero emissions can coexist with convenience, that the soul of the engine, the thing that made Soichiro Honda chase that Model T down a dusty village road in 1906, can survive and thrive in the 21st century. The question is not whether hydrogen will replace electric vehicles or vice versa. The question is, in a world desperately needing clean transportation solutions, should we not be grateful to have more than one answer? What do you think about Honda's hydrogen gamble? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.